generation that they want to start a small business, but they don't have money. For the young generation that can start from zero, that you say it is good too. But this is for young generation that want to add their funding support to start the small business, because for the young generation that want to start a small business, because the social media is just a little amount of it, but the bigger amount is the bigger part of is to start a small business. Thank you.
Is there any other solutions to decrease the number of the youth unemployment? I think that this is the best solution that we can do, because as we know that the rate of the youth graduations is more faster than the infrastructure developing. It is, and because of that, we would like to propose the second solution that fulfill the minus from the government's effort.
For the entrepreneurship from school is not enough. So we have to do much more training for our young generation to be an entrepreneurship. Actually, it can be done. If the government do cooperation with another industries, with another company, like our Ministry of Education actually can give mandatory or give cooperation with another company to provide the training session or seminar session for our young generation about entrepreneurship. So, is it clear? Okay.
Sesi kedua untuk tanya jawab.
At the end, we want to conclude that the biggest problem of our youth is right now is youth unemployment. They become youth unemployment because the graduate is so fast and there's limited for job, and if they want to create some job, they doesn't have some money to build that. And now we want to close our presentation with a quote. With a quote that my presenter already said before is, give me 1,000 old people and I will take out the Semeru mountain from its root, and give me 10 young people and I will shake the world. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are from Bahasa, and see you later.
Terima kasih banyak. Sesi berikutnya. Sekali lagi untuk yang ada di belakang sebagai supporter, teman-teman anak-anak SMK yang supporter, untuk tetap menjaga ketertiban dan ketenangan, mohon dipelankan suaranya.
Sumatera Utara.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Not spirit, I repeat again. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, honorable judges and all audiences. For beginning our presentation, let me thanks to God who made overflow His delicacy for us until we cannot count it. Then, I will never forget to thank honorable judges and all audiences for coming today. It's great to see you all. Okay, before we start our presentation, let me introduce our group. We are from North Sumatra. I am Rizka as moderator, Muhammad Rizky as first presenter, and Anjali as second presenter. Today, we have very interesting topic. The first. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that often at election time, many people are choosing their political candidates because in clan, in family, and the famous people. So we are from North Sumatra will propose look at political candidates from their police. What is the problem? Okay, my first presenters explain about that. My first presenters, time is yours. Coming please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to say thanks for moderator has given me place and time to continue this presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this part, I will tell you about the problem from general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, general election is an important one, especially in this country, to lead or to choose the leader in our country. We usually do this every 5 years. Our country are not suitable with general election. For example, they are from the famous one or they from the rich one. That's why the leader in our country will be broke because they have everything. The candidate of the leader, as we know, they have much education because they have an attitude, knowledge, and skill to lead this country, right, ladies and gentlemen? But they don't think about they will lead this country, but they want to get everything from the leaders. For example, they have everything. They try to fight with someone that have a competence. It means that if they have everything, they can everyone to choose them. It is not suitable with our general elections. The main problem from this, actually there are two problems. They are discrimination on each other, especially from all the candidates. For example, they are a clever candidate and they are the great or the rich candidate. It is not suitable. Why? Because they are the pictures from the candidate. Because they don't the leader or the children, they don't think about the policy. They will be the bad one. Because the leader is from the people, they don't have competence. It's a big problem in our company, ladies and gentlemen, if we are looking back.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the honorable judges. So this is my time to explain about the solution to face the problem that said my second speaker. For example, like this, in general election, there is candidate A, B, and C. There's a word that says don't judge people by their cover, but in this case, we say that don't choose people by their cover, but choose the people by their policy. First candidate is beautiful. The B candidate is, oh, not really. The third is just so-so, but that is the real fact in Indonesia. So when they see the beautiful one, they will choose the beautiful one, not because the policy given by the candidate A. So, as we know that, for example, for one example word in Bataknis. What is your name? My name is, before I want to tell you that my name is Anjali Latasya Sibagaria. In Bataknis, example, what is your name in candidate A? Michael Angelo Sibagaria. Candidate A, B is Angelina Simatupa. Candidate C is Christy Taniago. So in the Bataknis, we choose the Sibagaria ones because they are family in Bataknis. That is bad judgment to the in general election in Indonesia. So here we are from North Sumatra to propose the better solution than manual system like that. The first, we want to propose the e-voting. By e-voting, we can't see the cover by the candidate, but we also see by the year policy. Had program election system electronic state. E-voting is the votes, counting votes and sending a yield as a recapitulations and produce an audit trail. And I want to ask, why don't e-voting be implemented by all of the provinces in Indonesia? The manual system using a lot of paper, ladies and gentlemen. The second is, e-voting also give a result directly and accurate to the commissions like that. That is more better than manual system. And I want to remind all of us here, our friends, that we are not focusing on e-voting, but we are focusing by it is more effective than manual systems like we have done right now. So we don't choose anyone like candidate by their cover like beautiful, handsome, and the other, but we want to e-voting is better than manual system. I think that's all my presentation, and I want to remind you again that good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Any evidence when you stated that the famous people like actress or actor just want to use their fame and want to become a leader just for money oriented? How about when they really want to become a leader who can develop our nation and country for a better future? Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stella Maratia, and I'm representing my province, Banten. I want to ask something. How could all part of our society know well the policy of candidates itself? Thank you. How the people know it well, but yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next.
First of all, it is really interesting to know about your presentation.
Thank you, friends.
I would like to ask you, well, your solution is implementing of e-voting, right? But it stands for electronic, right? So there must be electronic, there must be like a problem or fraud too, such as hacking, such as hacker that hacking the system. So what is the way to avoid it? So because if there is no solution to avoid it, there will be like a manual system. So have you got the point?
Okay, thank you, Lomba.
Thank you.
I'm Devi and I'm from Bali. So what is the difference between e-voting and general election? When you can also see the biography of the candidate if there is a name like Made which is Bali's name. So what's the difference?
Bali,
There is a name like Made in which is mean the Bali's name. And so what is the difference in e-voting and general election? Thank you.
I would like to clarify, for example, if there is a candidate that has a name like Made, which is identical a name for a Balinese person, the purpose of your solution is actually not different from the general election that we have in the status quo right now.
okay, thank you. Your question answered by.
People know that they are not famous anymore. So they have to give food for their children, to pay their children to school, to buy their clothes and buy the actress. So they have to be beautiful, right, in the public. So there's no evidence saying that. Of course, Masya Allah or Ahmad Dhani will not say that they are want money to be political. Of course not. There will be not just in the general elections. That's and
Pasha Ungu. Did you know that Pasha Ungu already be a leader of Palu? How about if he really wants to develop the Palu for a better future? You can't judge him just because he's an actor or musician.
yes, knowledge about politics, but the background also to find another money for their family, right? That is why. Thank you.
So you said thank you. We must
Choose the leader using their policy, not look their covers, no others. Of course.
First of all, thank you so much for your answer. But the read or inform the society about their policy, whether the candidates do campaign or.
So it means that the task for a government to reverse internet, how to apply internet well in using or balance by using general election. If there's a problem like using hacker and etc., it means that as a government that have a capability to handle this problem, they have to use everything to make general election in our country much better. For example, make banning or make some punishment from them that use hacker, etc.
Okay, Bali, your question answered by my
General elections. So as we know that a lot of people can do right, can give their argument about that candidate in maybe a social media, in internet.
So we don't know, we can accept it, but not easily. We have to see the real candidate. We can accept that information, but we have to realize which one is good, which one is not.
Okay, the next session, the second session. Any question? Okay, Jakarta.
I'd like to say I'm really sorry that we think that your proposal proposed a very judgmental comment regarding famous people is not eligible and capable to be a candidate of election. And second is that rich candidate also can do money laundering. But yet we still don't know if they are really capable or not. So related to the jumping profits, my question is, how do you really define the characteristic of those famous people and rich people who wants to be the leader of the election, that they are really capable and eligible?
From the Jakarta, and we have a thing to ask. We want to ask that you did not elaborate about it further on how we can change the tendency of our society who usually choose people that based on their looks. Yes, you did give a mention and solution of e-voting, but however, you never see that a throwback of it. And the policy are made by the candidates. So we believe that the candidates can so promote and find a way to get the society attention. So what is the policy they give are not according to what they will actually do when they get elected. That's our question. Thank you.
Yeah, Fiscal in charge from Pangkalpinang. I want to ask that you did say that Indonesia people, when they do the general election, stated their point on choosing someone where they're covered, mostly. How do you know that, and how do you prove that Indonesia only choose covered by their, Indonesia only choose the candidates where they're covered? But we think that there's so many things that can affect the voters to choose their candidates. Do you get what I mean? Okay?
That if you don't want to suitable the argument by our government, you can say that to our government. No, it means that you can guard it. Because our government that proposed this thing, that's why we also propose this problem to reduce the bad campaign in general elections. Got it? Thank you. Testimony Jakarta province that you say that how we can make difference that we just judge them from their policy, right? If we want to choose them from their just policy, from their policy, right? Of course, from their policy we can make different. For example, we can know them if they have education or not. By using social media, they can make some policy that can believe all people try to choose them. For example, there are some words that try to, actually if we're looking the back, there are some words try to, the word they can't believe us. For example, you have to choose us. And you have to choose us because we are the good one. It means that we can judge because we are the clever one. If the policy, from just policy, we can judge them if they have a good attitude or do have competence to lead this country. Because our president, you know, Joko Widodo, to propose this thing. That's why, of course, we propose this thing. Thank you.
So what we're trying to say is, so we believe that candidates can self-promote and find a way to get the societies that got exited when they got elected. That's our questions. Is that clear enough? Okay. All right.
For example, they are the clever ones, but they always say the thing, but they use their word by using their policy.
Our way to get society's attention. So from that policy that we just gave, it's not when they try to do it, and when it's not according to plan, what will they actually do when they get elected? Thank you.
Of our presentation is we must choose and look political with their policy. Because what? Because so that Indonesia can exceed the goal the nation well. Okay? Audiences, thank you for attention and not Sumatra! Be a leader, be a winner!
Maju aja.
Ahoy! Thank you for attention!
Yogyakarta.
DKI Yogyakarta dipersilakan.
We would like to have an English presentation about current issues in transportation system. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maisal, and today I'll act as the moderator for this presentation. As the presenters, there are Mr. Ayom and Ms. Agnes. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I have a question for you. If you are go to school, which one you prefer? Go to school by public transportation or by your own motorcycle or car? Public transportation or your own private transportation? Okay, well, do you know, according to BPTG or Badan Pengelola Transportasi Jabodetabek, 85% of people prefer to use private transportation than public transportation. So we can conclude that public transportation is less preferred than public transportation. Then it causes traffic jam everywhere, especially in big cities. I believe this is an urgent problem that should be solved. So that's why we are here to discuss about smart city, smart people. Let's welcome Mr. Ayom and Ms. Agnes.
I can hear your voice. Please say hello and I say hi. Hi everyone. Hello. Transportation. What comes in your mind when I say transportation? Motorcycle, car, bikes. Transportation is anything that helps us to move from a place to another place. Transportation differentiated by two things. From environmental usage such as air transportation, land transportation, and water transportation. For the air transportation like planes, helicopter, or etc. And the land transportation like car, bike, or bicycle. The water transportation is ship, submarines, etc. But now, we will focus on the public transportation. Please ask.
So you also must have questioned what is smart city and what is smart people. Why is that our topic today? So I will first explain you about smart city. So according to smartcity.gov.in, which is a trusted website, we believe that smart city provides a lot of aspects. Some example of smart city is they provide efficient mobility and also public transportation, which is related topic today, right, ladies and gentlemen? But there are a lot of definition of smart city. It's different in every country. You can make smart city in the US and in Asia the same, but we can still take the positive benefits of smart city in the US. So there are also other smart city definition which includes smart cities related to ICT and IoT. What is ICT and IoT? ICT is information and communication of technology, while IoT is Internet of Things. So we believe that smart city related to transportation need to be accessible by everyone. It's easy access. So I can conclude that smart city will have a balance between private transportation and also public transportation. And people in our case is that people who are wise enough to respond about government.
That's why our topic today is smart city, smart people from transportation. People these days, why do people these days are not smart? But they don't realize if the cause of the traffic jams are themselves. How? By buying too many private transportation means there are too many transportation in the road. That means that the road will easier to get jammed, and it means that they will still not prefer the government public transportation. But in fact, the government has provided us so many good facilities in public transportation, and they always make effort to improve the public transportation.
And don't forget that people that use private transportation is also a contributor of a lot of pollution in our society, right?
Of course, cars, motorcycles produce so many CO2. And this related to my problem, which is the first unappreciated public transportation. Government has made so many efforts already, like there's new incoming armada every year. For Trans-Jogja, they have imported 74 buses in these years, and in the total they have 165 buses in the town. Meanwhile, for the facilities, now there are DigiCard. What is it? Anyone know about DigiCard? It's a Transjakarta card which lets you to ride Transjakarta free. The one who can ride Jakarta for free are the one who have age between above 60 years, and the one who is disabled, the one who has Kepulauan Seribu identity card, and the one who has social protection card. And government has also made MRT all over the Jakarta. There's about 23 stations all over the Jakarta, and now it's still progressing. This October even they have done making one in Bundaran HI. And no one is worried about the safety again.
And also, don't forget about the facilities that government already provide us. There is self-decanting machine that government provides, so we don't have to queue a long way to get our ride. It's no secret that we can get vehicles for very cheap price than other countries. And then we also get cheap tax. For bike, we only spend around 200,000 for a year for the tax. And for car, it's between 1 million until 3 million for the tax only. It's very cheap to have a bike or a car. And easy regulation to get SMK or BPKB for car is also very easy. And we do next in the vehicles for you reach 10 years. Then you need to re-register, or in the end you need to revalidate your vehicles if you still want to use them. Also, there are high tax and high price for the vehicles itself. How much does it cost to have vehicles in Singapore, just our neighbor country? For your information, just Toyota Altis, which is not an exclusive car, right? It spent more than $100,000 Sing dollar to have that, and the tax itself is more than $20,000. So to have a car in Singapore, it's
Station. So the first session has ended, so we'll move to the next session. Have you prepared many questions? Sorry. So before we start, I will give you the regulation. In the first phase, we will accept 4 questions. After we accept this, we will answer it all together. And then for the second phase, we just accept 3 questions. Then start for the first phase. Any question? Okay.
Representative of the Europeans. So in your presentation, so you are support that our all city in Indonesia have to be a smart city, right? My question is, do you think that all city in Indonesia can be a smart city? Meanwhile, we know that inequality is still happening in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thanks for the interesting.
I'm Novia, I will study from Jambi province. So my question is, each year the amount of private vehicle increase, but the width of the road is still the same. So what is the best solution to stop increase the numbers of cars? Okay, thank you.
My question is, what are your thoughts about the right of the society for them to have a private vehicle because as we know, public transportation can have a kind of schedule which cannot accommodate a lot of people. Thank you.
Thanks for. I really like how you set the PowerPoint, but we have some concerns about the statements that you guys have made. You guys spent half of the power presentation talking about comparing us with Singapore, a developed country, a country that the size is half of Jakarta, and you said that yeah, they're a developed country, they can do this. We, Indonesia, are a huge country, we're divided by islands. So, do you think that your Go public transportation such as busway can actually solve all the problem of Indonesia, huge country, because your comparison of a country that is half of Jakarta? Thank you very much.
The smallest problem we'll do it later, like the systematic when we solve any problem. Thank you. Are you satisfied? Thank you. Thanks.
Then for
About the big road.
No, I just asked you about the best solution to stop increasing number of cars, private cars.
Okay, so I'm so sorry that we have limited time like that. So we have the solution which is strengthen the regulation to have private car, which include tax, make the tax in Indonesia become higher, and of course limit the length of how long you can have your car.
Are you sure about the increase of the tax of private car will effective to decrease the number of private car? Because there are so many rich people in Indonesia who can pay the tax even you increase the tax for the private car.
Why and why public transportation for their daily life?
no other question. Then for the third question from Bag.
Even massive, and we don't want this to happen. So we still let people to have their right on having their own private transportation, but we limit them. For example, that they can only have that up to 10 years, or people who have a minimum of salary will have the right to get their own private transportation, but people who don't get that minimum of salary couldn't actually have their own private transportation. Does that answer your question?
And they cannot get there in time because they will have to wait for other people to come because there's a schedule going on with the public transportation that we have right now in Indonesia.
We believe that the problem right now where we cannot have the lack care of the people itself to ride public transportation. That's why government also cannot add more time, even more armada to accommodate these people. But when a lot of people or our own society have the realization to ride this public transportation, the government keep improving to finally have it all the time. 3 minutes on, 4 minutes on, so people no longer have to wait for the quota of the public transportation to be full, so they can go.
We definitely do not agree about that. They are half size of our region. They're small. We are a huge country. We're divided by thousands of islands. We're the country with most of islands. So do you think your Go public solution can actually solve all of this issue in Indonesia? And just by busway?
Give the right to the government of the island and the province. They can do it little by little from province to province by the socialization of the main government.
What you mean, so does every province and every region and every island have the same system, even if they are different from other developed?
Yeah, the main government will socialize about the system so that the smaller province can solve their own problems, little by little.
We want all the provinces in Indonesia. Jakarta is still be a sampling province to apply this whole over the Indonesia. So we are not saying that we need to be like Singapore, but we are saying that they have good system. Let's take the best from them, even though it's not perfect and far from perfect for what has done in Singapore.
Say hi, you say hello. Hi. Hello, hello. Okay, thanks, great. So the first session of the question and answer has ended. So we'll move to the next phase. But in this quiz, we just set 3 questions.
North Sumatra, I want to ask about that you said that you all guys hope all of the island implemented this program to go public transportation. But as we know that the government by go public transportation like train, public, like busway and the other, but the government obligation to the other country because the Indonesia haven't create the public transportation yet. So this is make a problem in Indonesia. And why don't we choose the private transportation? Our government take the salary from the taxes when they are buy the private transportation. That is effective too. And
yes, please.
I want to ask you a question that what are your opinion about what you see before that Indonesia should go for the smart city, but we know that Indonesia is a developing country. So to develop the smart city, we should be smart people. What are your opinion about Indonesia people to go according with the smart city development in Indonesia?
Okay, well, thanks to the question.
Thank you.
We need to reach those who don't have enough to even get their own vehicle. So we believe the best solution is to get this public transportation. And regarding about that, tax actually is an income for the country itself. Yes, tax is income for the country itself, but
corrupt in that money to then before they want to buy the public transportation from the other country, but they take the money, and that is also make obligation to from the child that was born, and maybe under 7th generation they are already obligations.
Because where the money comes from, as my friend mentioned before about the promotion like card, like discount, like free for above 60 years old, those are promotion. It applies for every single institution or place. For example, your school have cutting weight for every student, salary for every student maybe, or maybe a place to place such as let's say Dufan, they have discount. So does this public transportation like PG, they use this promotion of free above 60 years old to promote their public transportation. Not
People don't want to use public transportation because private transportation is better, right?
Yeah.
To solve this, we suggest the government to make a regulation, the limitation of private transportation usage, such as, for example, the limitation of BBM, how many times you should buy BBM once in a week, so that people will maximize the public transportation usage. And first of all, you will never know before you try the public transportation. As I said before, that government always make improve in public transportation system. Thank you for you.
effectivity of this proposal.
I'm sorry, before my question
about
is
my statement.
The first thing I want to clarify is about your question that say about your statement and presentation that say Indonesia should implement the smart city in Indonesia. And how your opinion about Indonesia people in accordance with the smart city development? How about our people? There are someone.
Okay, I'm so sorry for Bangkalpinang because the time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Public transportation is a shared passenger transport service which is available for use with the general public. So we as the user should be wise to use the public transportation. The government of the city have facilitated the public transportation well. So if the proposal can be implemented, it will change and even more increase the city development. Okay, that's all from me. Before I close, I will give you the quotes. Quotes from Errol Ozan, an author of Tal, say, "You cannot understand a city without using public transportation." I'm Maisal. Matur nuwun. Bali.
Pada
Anjali. Om Swastiastu. Okay, good morning ladies and gentlemen, and also the honorable judges and timekeepers. Thank you for being here in this morning. And we are standing here as representative from Bali. First of all, I would like to welcome you all of this presentation. And in this occasion, our presenter will present you about promoting your province, which Bali may include potential tourism object, current condition, problems, and alternative solution. But first of all, I would like to introduce myself and my teammates. I'm Devi as moderator. Next to me is Feve as the first presenter, and next to me is Mika as the second presenter. So with that, please take your full attention to our presenters. Feve, time is yours.
Now, do you agree that tourism is one of the fastest growing industry in Indonesia? Do you agree that tourism is one of the biggest contributor to the devisa in our country? Ladies and gentlemen, tourism is an industry that has been developed by countries from all around the world. Why? Because tourism has a lot of economical benefit. For example, ladies and gentlemen, but our government has an ambition. Our government has a dream. We want, in 2019, we will have 20 million foreign tourists. It will be very low if we compare it to other neighboring countries in Asia. For example, Thailand. Thailand, as of 2015, has the tourism in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are talking about tourism, a lot of people will think, oh, making hotels, making restaurants will really help our tourism a lot. But ladies and gentlemen, the kind of tourists that are coming are also, not all of the tourists that are coming are looking just for shopping, relaxing in a mall. Some of them want something that is more challenging, something that is more unique that Bali has. Understand their language in order to attract more tourists coming. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the kind of solution that we are proposing is ecotourism. Ladies and gentlemen, the unique culture is something that could not be compared to other places in the world. We are different, and it can be our best tourism objects. For example, cultivating the rice field, the luwak coffee. We have a lot of things that we can offer, in which the development of ecotourism will be explained by my presenter. I want to explain about why we need to develop ecotourism in order to develop our provinces, ladies and gentlemen. The need to serve tourists. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 reasons why we would like to apply this ecotourism. Because first, we want the tourists come to visit our province. Second, we want the tourists to visit our province again because our uniqueness that we offer. Third reason, because we want the tourists, when they come back to their homeland, they will tell the uniqueness, something that unfamiliar for them, that they can't find it in their own country. So it means that those tourists invite others to visit our province, ladies and gentlemen. English, Japanese, Dutch, and so on. So it will increase their capability to speak foreign language, ladies and gentlemen, in order to easier the way they communicate with the tourists itself. Moving on to my third point, which is preserving the nature, culture, tradition, and such as accommodation, for example. They have to sacrifice the land or the forest, ladies and gentlemen. By ecotourism itself, we can preserve the nature, for example. Band is a tradition from Bali that is exists around from centuries. which is the people that is deceased before the criminate and go around to parade before birth, ladies and gentlemen. Preserving custom. In Bali, we have a very traditional custom which is named Omed-Omedan from Sasetan and Pandan War. This uniqueness custom that we can over and bring the uniqueness that is attract tourists to come to Bali, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the society is the major actor running ecotourism itself, ladies and gentlemen. They have a right to rely to ecotourism is the win-win solution. If you thank you.
There are two sessions, and the first session is we accept only 4 questions, and in the second session we only accept 3 questions, and the first session is okay from Bag.
That we misunderstanding the point in your presentation. In the second point, it is written that target of foreign tourists in 2019, 20 million rupiah. I don't get, is it the target of foreign tourists or the target of income from the tourists in Bali? So, because I'm afraid we misunderstand it.
I want to ask you your clarification that your first presenter stated that in your presentation, target of foreign tourists in 2019 is 20 million foreign tourists, but you stated in your presentation 20 million rupiahs. Okay, so my question is, does education have a role in improving tourism? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I am Jane from Jakarta, and I would like to ask, in one of your solutions that you mentioned, that is ecotourism, you said by improving human resource and making the priority for the people to learn multiple languages, which as we know is a really hard thing. And you also mentioned one of the other solutions is to improve and to promote about our uniqueness, about the uniqueness of Bali. Why don't you think that by making a program or an attraction would be the language of people learning Bali language or people learning Indonesian language? So why do we have to adapt to those tourists when we can actually make them attracted to learn about the language? Don't we want to promote Indonesia, not just Bali and the specific tourism objects there? Thank you.
In the second session, we only accept 3 questions. So, if you don't ask now, you can accept your question in the next session. Thank you.
Jakarta, the way before I ask the question, Indonesia is an Eastern country. We believe that it has strong moral and character. But in Bali, there seems an exception where people with foreigners can be more expressive in what they wear. For example, in Jogjakarta, it's inappropriate to wear bikini, unlike Bali. So the question, does the free culture in Bali doesn't break our national culture as an Eastern country? Thank you.
Okay. For representing, do the close check to our slide. It's already asked to copy to the flash disk. So yes, this is our fault. So we admit it because we not check it.
Foreign tourists in 2019 is 20 million foreign tourists, but your presentation slide show us that 20 million rupiah, so it's not related to your presentation. But my question is, does education have a role in improving tourism?
tourist itself. And yes, education does have a role in this, but we are focusing more on trying to make the quality of the human resources in Bali is better. Which is why we believe that it is a challenge for the people in Bali in order for them to try to attract tourists, because as we know, Bali is quite different from other provinces. We attract quite a lot of European tourists coming to Bali, which means that we have to try to understand their language, because we are the one that needs to serve the tourist itself.
Actually, I just tourism, right? So what is the role?
I'm sorry, you cannot clarify again. We won't have enough time. The people from outside of Indonesia try to learn Balinese language. Well, the reason is back to the second point. It's the same logic that we use here. If you want to attract more people, you have to be able at least to try to understand their language. You cannot just tell the people that are coming to our country, that are paying to come into our country, to try to speak our language, because we are the one that is the tourists right now, not the other way. Thank you.
Why don't we make the Balinese language or the Indonesian language become an attraction? Because tourist attraction is not just a place, it's not just it's not just like beaches, it's also the culture, it's also how the people live, the lifestyle of the Balinese people. So why don't we make it also an attraction of the Balinese language? I'm not saying that it is wrong for the human in Bali to be able to speak other languages. I'm trying to say, maybe for another solution, we can make that as an attraction. Thank you.
As the people that need to serve the tourists, she'll try to contribute more into pleasing them rather than forcing them to try to learn our language. Because the culture that we are talking about right now is like the traditional dance and other things that you can find in Bali and only in Bali, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to try to learn Indonesian language, you won't have to only come to Bali. You can also come to other provinces in Indonesia. But because we are trying to promote the uniqueness that is Bali have, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we are proposing to increase the quality of the human resources.
Sunbathing when they feel the warmth of the sun. So I don't think it's kind of such a problem in our built character of the Western culture. So their purpose to wear bikini is just to sunbathe in the beach.
Okay. And so because we don't have time to the question. Okay.
Well, thank you for your time. Well, I would like to ask you before that, I will give you. But your team has presented that guiding children to speak foreign language such as Dutch, English, French, etc. is one of ways to improve the quality of human resource for tourism object. Is it right? So how is the way or steps that they can learn those languages? As we all know that Indonesian language is really familiar for us, while those foreign language only familiar for some regions or some provinces in Indonesia, such as outlying regions.
Okay, we get your point. Thank you.
As you know that Bali, everyone in foreign countries mostly know Bali as a country, right? A country, not a part of Indonesia. What's your opinion about this? Okay, thank you.
Okay. For example, the platform can be from school, because as you all know, some of the schools in Bali, I don't know about your province, but in Bali, they have 3 languages, like for example, Japanese, Indonesia, English, and sometimes they even add Mandarin, which means that the young generation in Bali have already been taught from such a young age. Is that not clear enough?
Okay, I want to ask a question from Pangkalpinang that is asking about on how we could change the paradigm.
That is know that Bali is the part of Indonesia, so the visitors, the tourists itself attract and trigger to know more about other places in Indonesia, and they will explore more the tourism destination, for example in Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and many others. So the Bali itself is just like the introducing all the Indonesian tourist destination. You got that point?
I don't think about the Bali.
I ever saw a film about this in the TV actually.
Sorry, your argument is that the stigma is kind of bad for Indonesia? Is that what you mean? Well, actually, when someone knows about Bali, they're obviously gonna browse about it. When they browse on Google, they will obviously know that Bali is part of Indonesia. And also, and I want to add my friend's question. When others, tourists, other people in foreign countries, because there's a feel of curiosity. They will search it in Google, for example, Bali. That's clearly explaining that Bali is part of Indonesia. So I think that is not a big question, big problems that must be. It's not a really big problem that must be fixed or something, because it's actually good. If people are curious about Bali, they will search about it and they will know that Bali is part of Indonesia. In turn, we are also promoting Indonesia itself. Thank you.
So, Bali is the potential to the leading tourism in the world because they have big potential. Like my previous presenter said, that in Bali, because if we apply the ecotourism, it can make Bali can make Bali knowing in peoples in other countries. So thank you for the audience for being the active participant, and hopefully our presentation will bring the beneficial for us, and thank you for your attention. Good morning.
Lampung. Kepada Provinsi Lampung, dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tapi pun, ya pun.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say thanks to the God that has given us everything so we can be here and do our activities. I also want to say thanks to all of you for this great opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, before we show you our presentation, let me introduce our team. My name is Niwayan Estiani, as the moderator of this team, Gisha Afifa as the first presenter, and Fia Bristol as the second presenter. Ria from Lampung will give you a presentation about political issues in Indonesia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the first presenter, Gisha Afifa.
I stand to present you a presentation under title Common Problems of Election in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know that in 2017 there will be simultaneous regional elections, especially for Jakarta. Well, it's being hot as topic everywhere nowadays, on newspaper, internet, on TV, everywhere. So, have you decided which one you will choose, ladies and gentlemen? Adjudicators, have you decided? Well, I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about frauds in political process, because in elections there must be frauds, right? So here I'm going to talk about money politics. Well, many times we hear about money politics. So do you actually know what money politics is, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know? Oh my God, you're smart. Well, let me explain you. Money politics is the practice as anything that involves money to influence the change the minds of voters to favor the giver in political process. So, for example, the candidates or the party has promised us to give sembako, such as vegetable oil, noodles, rice, and also sometimes they they provide free eye checkups. Well, I'm sure that all of you here have ever accepted something like that. Does it mean that? It just means that the candidates by voters, ladies and gentlemen. It's pathetic, isn't it? That one of your aspirations can be bought just because political interest. So, it's really pathetic that our democratic principles have been contaminated by money politics.
Now I'd like to invite the second presenter, Sylvia Augusta.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thanks for the time that given to me. Our first presenter has explained you about the fraud of political, that is money politics. And now I'm going to present you about another political fraud, that is the campaign. In democratic country, it is common to hear about campaign, right? Of course, yes. Campaign is a mass gathering activities, parents, and also advertising party. But every participant should follow the campaign with the rule, with the formal rule that all educators, right? Of course. But do you know that black campaign also about religion, cultures, personality of, and what is the solution to solve the black campaign? So the solution is first to strengthen the authority of each institution election, and if this way is difficult to solve this problem, the black campaign, will you be profitable or not? Well, just be a wise user and smart citizen. Be wise, be good. Well, that's for me and Sylvia. Thank you.
Before that, raise your hand and don't forget to mention your name. Okay, Yogyakarta.
Because the government still legalized giving sembako to society. Anyway, it's some way to show their care, the candidates' careness about their society. So people know that the candidates care about their society. So how do those candidates show their attention, their care toward their future people if we ban sembako giving in the campaign? Thank you.
So not enough to show their real action that they truly care for their future citizens. Thank you. Yes, to show their real action and attention to their future people without giving sembako or any kind of money politics, but other than giving programs only in their campaign.
Okay, thank you. Next.